So, in this lecture, we will understand the query operator structure. Let's just take an example. Say, we have this in our URL. Now let's break the URL from https till .com is the site. Thereafter, the / upload is the in URL and the / file.pdf is the file type. Now this is just an example of how a URL looks. Now let's try to break each and every steps. Say for an example, we have this as an URL. Now we need to understand like what each parameter consists. Okay, one key term explanation, that is URL, which stands for Uniform Resource Locator. A URL is nothing more than the address of a unique resource on the web. Okay, so have you ever been on a website before and noticed in the address bar that the simple little www.example.com you have typed in and turned into something very long and complicated, full of questions and equal signs? URL, that is the address of the page you are viewing, can be pretty darn complicated. But not fear, this is a super simple guide to understanding a URL's structure, broken down in a format that's easy to understand. So here is a sample URL that we'll try to understand. To see what's going on in the URL, here are the various parts broken down into pieces. First one, the HTTP // This is the protocol. Other protocols include but are not limited to FTP, HTTPS, GIT, Web CAL, and even GOPHER, that is GOPER, etc. This is the very first part of the URL. The next one is www dot. This is the subdomain. You can have just about anything imaginable for a subdomain, including www dot or secure dot, www2, mail dot, blog dot, webmail dot, etc. You can also choose not to have a subdomain at all. A lot of websites on the internet don't have any subdomain at all, in which case this is skipped. The next part is example.com. Okay, till now we have covered http www.example.com. Till www. We have covered. Okay, the next part is example.com. Now this is the domain name, or what's sometimes called the host. Everything after the host is optional depending on the configuration of the depending on the configuration of the server configured to respond to the URL. Domain names can be obtained from a domain register such as, for example, GoDaddy, and often end in .com or say .org, .net, .info, etc. The next part, that is :80. This is the port. It's rarely seen in URLs intended for the general public or average user. It is always a number starting with a colon and is placed after the host. Example, websites using SSL, that is Secure Sockets Layer security, often use port :443 for secure web browsing. Now, the next part of the URL query is forward slash products forward slash search. This is the path. Paths are determined by the directory structure of a web server. And now the next part. Question mark q is equals to 1 and 456 which is equals to true. Ampersand will equals to loves plus me plus some plus jello. This is the query string. Query strings are indicated with a question mark and comes after the path. So, our example URL has three query parameters: the q, the 456 and the word will. Okay. Each parameter generally has a value or multiple values indicated by the equal sign, which is in this case are 1, true, and loves plus me plus some plus jello. Multiple parameters are separated with ampersands. To clarify visually, here's the list of the three query parameters on the left of the equal signs, and their respective values are on the right. So we have q is equals to 1, 456 is equals to true, and will, which is equals to loves plus me plus some plus jello. So I hope this explanation of URL query structure was clear to you. Please do refer to the reading material for better understanding.